Welcome to Indy's Real Estate Gurus. I'm Rick Ripma, your hardworking mortgage guy, and I've been in mortgages and real estate for over, I was going to say 52 years. That's not right. That's 34 years. My team and I believe in custom tailored loans, not the one-size-fits-all approach. We believe there is a right mortgage for you, and we believe we are the team to deliver it.
And I'm Ian Arnold, part of Rick's hardworking mortgage team. I've been in the financial industry for 15 years, helping people rebuild their credit to get the best possible interest rate for you. I also have a passion in helping you secure your overall real estate dreams and helping you secure your overall financial wealth.
And we want to remind you that if you have any real estate or mortgage questions, please go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com, or you can call 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And today we have Rachel Blacklidge, and you're with Tucker, FC Tucker.
Correct.
Small company. Probably nobody's ever heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. What are they, the largest company that we have?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Well, it's fun to hear everybody's story. And so let's just get started in your story. So could you give us a little bit of your background, like where you grew up, what you did before real estate?
Okay. I was born and raised in Mooresville. That's actually where I'm back now. I lived there with my family. I ended up I met my husband in high school. We moved to Plainfield after we were married. And so I've been in Hendricks County for several years. That's where I started my real estate journey. Before real estate, I did kind of the executive assistant job,
Okay.
Always adult babysitting, making sure everybody was where they needed to be, wherever they needed. My probably biggest career right before that was I was a executive assistant for electrical engineering firm in Hendricks County.
So you didn't go far from home.
I really didn't, no. And now, after our daughter graduated, we moved back to Mooresville, and now that's back where I'm at.
Awesome. And so through all that, then you went into real estate, or at some point in that path, you went into real estate. What was it that kind of drew you into real estate, and how did you get going?
Okay. It was kind of an interesting point because I feel like everything that I've done kind of just matched my family life. So whenever my daughter graduated high school, went off to college, I obviously had a lot more free time. She was kind of our life before then. So I was highly involved in her, and my schedule was with her, involved in PTO and soccer and golf and all of show choir, all right, all the things that are kids. And then once she went off, I had free time. My husband was actually having drinks with a friend who was having some difficulties, I would say, in his real estate. He just didn't have a very big sphere. And I was teaching Zumba at that point in time.
Okay.
I was at the Y. I was at LA Fitness. I was all over, right? So I was doing my full-time job during the day, and then doing Zumba at night. So my sphere was really big. And that was kind of where he and his friend had this conversation of real estate. You just need to really have a good sphere. And all my time in one area, all my extracurriculars, I had a good sphere. And so they suggested that I started it. So really my husband and his friend over a couple beers decided that I needed to do real estate. and
They were right.
and they were really right. And so I had the time, my daughter was gone, right? And I just decided it was time to start something for me.
So did you do the Zumba and be like, all right, left leg up, and then, call Rachel?
No, it was actually right at that point in time that I started to kind of transition away from it. Not that there was any reason. I just had other things going on, and I feel like real estate is so sporadic, right? You don't have a good schedule. So it was really hard for me to say, okay, I'm going to teach classes 3 days this week, or it was just really hard. And so I wanted to be there more for my clientele, and I had to focus more on that. And so I think I went down to just 1 day a week at a point in time. And it was literally just for me, just so that I was always, this is my schedule and this is my workout, way more than it was for anyone else.
Now, how did you keep up with I mean, your sphere of influence, because that's obviously where you got your business from. It sounds like.
Yeah. I think it still goes back and just you've got those personal connections. You've spent all that time with those people. They want to see you do good. They want to watch what you do. And then you just kind of keep going from there. I think that social media kind of helps you out a lot. And I didn't realize how important that was in the beginning. And now I'm just seeing, as time goes by and I'm less involved because I'm doing so much with my real estate clientele.
Yes.
I'm seeing that social media just really has to be a number one priority all the time.
It's an easy way to keep in touch with people.
It is, and I feel like I've got family out of state, and that's where it really kind of shows me the focus of if I don't do it, nobody knows. And at first, you kind of feel like, well, nobody cares. Nobody cares what you eat for lunch, or nobody cares that you're on a listing appointment, but people really do care. I don't know if they really do care, but they like to see you work.
I don't know if they care what I have for lunch or not. But
well, that was just always my thought about social media in the beginning, right? Like, why would someone be posting that,
Right.
or why would they do that? And you just kind of see it the overall. I don't know if I'd necessarily care, but it's that top of mind, and it's just, oh yeah, I do. And now I find that whenever I'm not out or I'm so busy that I can't see all those new places, I really do care when somebody goes to someplace new to eat. I definitely care what they had for lunch, because then I'm like, oh, I want to see.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have the time just to be going around everywhere.
Right.
So I need those I want those lunch referrals just as much as that helps my business.
Yeah. We don't care so much what you had for lunch. We care where you were for lunch, and
If you liked it.
And if you liked it, it's nice to see a video before you eat it.
Yeah.
If you're at a new restaurant.
Absolutely.
But if you're at home eating a peanut butter and jelly like I am, probably people don't care.
Right. Absolutely.
Or sitting in my office, which I do every day, eating, nothing. I mean, it's just, yeah. So it is more about what they're doing, where they're at, than the food. So it's so funny because that's what everybody says. But when you say it in such a way that it's really about the restaurant,
Mhm.
That's what it's about. And by doing that, you stay top of mind for them.
Right.
And they get to see a restaurant, and hopefully they do the same thing, and you get to see new restaurants and go where people recommend.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So what restaurant do you recommend?
Oh my goodness. A restaurant that I recommend. I really like the new, that's such a hard question for me. I went to the gallery for Mother's Day, the new one that opened up downtown. So that was a very nice meal. It was, I am very much into the experience right now. So I don't mind having a nice meal or a nice drink someplace. And I think maybe that's why I'm enjoying looking at where other people are going or new places and getting that feedback or those referrals from other people of things that they like, because I do feel like I want that experience, because I feel like my business is experience driven. I don't have the time to just be going everywhere. And if I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a meal or I'm going to have a drink, I want to be someplace that I enjoy. So that was a very great experience for Mother's Day.
That's awesome. So when I know you first started going, so have you worked for Tucker from the get-go, or if so, why did you even choose Tucker?
Okay. I did not. I have actually worked for 3 brokerages. I've been on 2 large teams. I've been on my own co-branded team, and now I'm a solo agent. I feel like you have to, there's probably going to be a lot of people that's going to not like me saying this. I feel like you have to get out. You have to see a different perspective. You have to kind of feel around a little bit to really know where you fit. So for me, that was really important. I needed to go learn from other people. I needed to have some other experiences. I know I've used that word a lot lately. I talked to someone that had only been at Tucker just the other day, another agent, experienced agent, doing good volume. And she had mentioned, I believe we were talking about door knocking or door flyers. And she was just like, that's just so outdated. I don't know why anyone would ever do that. And then I remember back to my days at another brokerage that was something that we really focused on at one point in time, was just farming and doing that. And that experience taught me something. Like, that was something that I had to learn. I had to go through. And at that point in time, I did get something from that. Like, I learned something from that. And then I remember, right? I can see her perspective of that doesn't work because she never tried it, or she'd never been a part of it, or she'd never done it as a big collaborative group the way that I had. So I feel like that was all part of my story. I had to be at those other places, experience all those different dynamics to teach me to be the person, the agent that I am today.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that, I mean, anytime you have more than one job, you pick up things from that prior job and that transition over. I mean, Rick and I have also talked about it. You're talking about the ladies like, oh, well, that's so outdated. Why would we do it? Well, she went and she did it one time.
Right.
And let's say hit 3 houses. And one of those people are like, yeah, I was thinking about selling my house. Let's do it. She'd do it every single time.
Right.
But she probably got denied 4 or 5 times, or got told, no, get off my yard. And then she's like, oh, I'm not doing this again.
Right.
So, but it's one of those things that you got to get overcoming, and whatever works for you works for you.
Right.
And whatever you're doing is working. You are a guru. So great job.
Well, thank you.
There are a lot of things that people do. You know, if it works for this agent, it will work for this agent if they figure out how to do it for them. To say it doesn't work at all, actually, I think a lot of the old school ways of doing things are kind of novel today and do work. It's a little more difficult because people may not be home. They may both be working, things like that. So there could be more difficulty to it. But if you're, there's still people who that's their whole career is knocking on doors.
Right. And I think that goes back into just the difference of agents, right? There's so many agents doing so many different things that it's the same thing's not going to work for everyone. And you're not going to be comfortable doing it. And if that's not what works for you and you don't like doing it, don't do it. Let someone else do it and it's going to work for them. And maybe you just don't know how to do it right, or maybe you're not giving them the right information, or whatever it is, it doesn't work for you, and that's okay. But, you know, for you to go out and be telling other people it doesn't work, that's not the case.
Right.
Let them go try it and figure it out for themselves.
I think the biggest thing new people have to do, especially, but anybody, when business goes down, in the mortgage industry, it's amazing, you know, when business dropped off, how many people went back to the basics of the things they did, which they weren't doing anymore, right? Because you have to get back to basics. And so very experienced people are doing that. I think I've seen that happen in real estate also. And but like you said, you have to do what works for you. We have had agents on here that their entire business model is social media, and it works extremely well, and they're gurus. We have other people on here who don't do any social media, and guess what? They do very well. And so it's just like you said, you got to do what works for you and what you like and you're good at. But when you're brand new, you got to try everything and figure it out, because sitting around twiddling your thumbs doesn't bring business in the door.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
That's just
Hold on. Somebody's here. I'm twiddling my thumbs.
Yeah, well,
Now what do I do with them?
yeah. He gets confused.
All right. But if somebody is wanting to work with you to either buy or sell their house, how will they get hold of you?
You can get a hold of me on my cell phone. You can call or text 317-414-2755.
So 317-414-2755.
Correct.
My eyes aren't that good, but I'm pretty sure I had it down right. Perfect. And to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can go to 317-672-1938. That's a call, or not a text, just a call. 317-672-1938. And you want me to read my commercial that I have right here.
Hey, we pay for advertising.
We do.
Somehow.
Thank you for listening to Indy's Real Estate Gurus. The gurus we interview share valuable insights. They reveal their strengths, personalities, and how they'll work for you. While we hardworking mortgage guys secure your best mortgage, real estate gurus work hard too. They avoid problems the amateurs don't see. They listen and they find unrealized opportunity. If you're buying or selling a home, a real estate guru is a valuable asset. If you're even thinking of buying or selling a home, keep listening and definitely call one of Indy's real estate gurus.
All right. So we're going to take a side step. We're going to get off the real estate part. So let's say I have to take away your phone. You cannot use it for 24 hours. So after you get done freaking out, what do we catch you out there doing for fun?
Take away my phone. What, like, is this today? Is this
just like standard? Like some people love to go fishing. Some people just, what do you love to do?
Okay. I do like my yoga. So I'm going to probably find a yoga practice. I also have this weird thing about cleaning. I like fresh laundry. So I'm going to always do laundry. You're going to always catch me doing laundry. And I think then I'm just going to catch up on whatever else needs to be done, right? It's housework, it's cleaning, it's yoga, it's spending time with someone, it's walking my dog. I've got a old English bulldog that is very needy. She was a rescue and she's got some separation anxiety. So I spend quite a bit of time with her.
What would be your favorite or your best vacation, maybe in the past, or something that you would love to take?
I would love to go to Italy. I feel like that's one place that is on one of my bucket list. We vacation quite a bit. That was one of the things that we got married young and we had to figure out what we were going to do with our life, and we bought a timeshare super young. So we do trades with that, and so in the beginning we couldn't afford to do a whole lot, so we would stay kind of local and just kind of trade here and there. And as time gone by, we trade a little bit further. So we do like to go see some new things, and we've traveled a little bit more with my husband's work in the last couple of years. So I just got back from Washington last week.
Washington State?
Washington State. It's kind of funny that everyone always says that whenever you say Washington.
Well, you never know.
You never know. Yes.
You always ask just because you want to make sure. I was sure that's what you were saying, but you just never know.
Yes.
Let's be honest, because when you say Washington D.C. is a lot closer
yes.
to us than Washington State.
Yes. So it's been really, I'm valuing those experiences still. Just going and seeing things that I've never seen. And I feel like Italy is one of those places I want to go and eat pasta and bread and wine.
Well, everybody who goes there really talks it up.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So it must be beautiful. I've never been there, but my wife is not a traveler.
No.
She won't get in a plane anymore. Oh. So if we can't drive there, we don't go. I guess we could drive to the ocean, take a ship across the ocean, but that is not my thing. That would be way too much. That would drive me crazy.
See, you missed the full point. If she is selling your home, she'll do your laundry. She loves laundry.
I love laundry.
She didn't say she would do all
Hey. She loves it. Just put it on her doorstep.
Here's what I found. I found a lot of people have told me how much they love to cut grass. They just love it. And I would say, well, that is fantastic because I hate it. So why don't you come over and cut my grass? And do you know all these people who love cutting grass have never come over to cut my grass? It's weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, I don't get it. I was trying to be nice. I mean, give them something they love to do.
But do you have a lot of grass or a little grass?
Yeah, 1.25 acres.
Okay. I mean,
not huge.
10 acres.
Yeah. The guy who cuts it doesn't complain.
There you go.
And it's not me. So what would you say your superpower or superpowers are?
My superpower is also probably whatever the opposite of a superpower is.
What is an opposite of a superpower?
Like your glass man, you just break every time somebody looks at you. I don't know.
Okay, it's going to be, I have a very strong sense of smell. So I have this weird mold sensory. I can usually walk into a house and know if we've got a mold problem. I get this in my throat.
Oh, really?
Because I feel like my allergies are immediately going to start acting up if we've got something going on. I'm not even something, it's got to be obviously something pretty decent. But that is one of those things that I can walk into the house, start walking around, and the moment that my client hears
All right, let's leave.
We got to start looking around a little closer. There's going to be something. But I do have a really good sense of smell, which is great 90% of the time, except for in airplanes or bathrooms or any place that you don't want a good sense of smell.
Yeah. Well, I would think though, being able to walk into a house and know there's mold in it, that's really good both as for a buyer and a seller.
Yes.
Because you walk in somebody's house, you go, we need to get something checked out because you have mold in this house.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yes. I completely, yes. I think that's one of those things that where I'm going, have you been in your attic lately? Because something smells funny. Like I smell something strange. And I don't think people always love that answer. But sometimes I can do it, just around the yard, right? If there's a bunch of standing water around the yard, that's something that you can smell that you're right. There's water that's been here longer than it really should have. Let's check around and see, do you have drainage problems, right? Is there something going on out here that we need to look at? Because we don't want any surprises later. We want to know.
So if you have drainage problems, you have mold in your house, don't let her come show it.
I'm going to come around, and when the tickle starts, we're going to start looking a little harder.
But you know what? I still think it's very valuable, and I think it's helpful because most people are going to have an inspection.
Yes.
And if they have an inspection and it comes up mold, there's an issue and you got to take care of it anyway, or you got to figure it out, right?
Absolutely.
You can find it much sooner.
Yes.
Also, in the times, which I don't think we're that far off, where no inspections, people were waiving those, to have somebody who can walk in the house and go, no, there's no mold. I don't smell any mold in this house. And I usually know.
Yeah.
That's a big deal because I think that's one of the biggest things people worry about in today's world is mold in the house that you can't see. You don't know it's there.
Right.
So I think that's huge.
Yep.
She's the first one with a good sniffer,
It's great and it's bad. It's bad whenever I walk in the house and go, okay, well, we need to do something because, the smoke smell or the dog smell or whatever the smell is overpowering me, and it's going to be an issue for everyone.
Yep.
And it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I think people who smoke don't understand how big a turnoff it is to somebody who doesn't smoke.
Yes.
And I was looking at a car and I stuck my head in it and I said, no way. But Ian tells me there's ways to get the smell out.
There is. I mean, it takes a lot, but I won't get into it here. If you want to contact me, I can tell you how. But it's interesting that you raise that point. Is I had a good friend and they were a huge smoker. And I go, look, stop for about 2 weeks. Just do whatever you can. Stop for 2 weeks. As soon as you can smell it, you'll never smoke again. They did that and they were like, I didn't believe it. And they were like, oh my goodness. As soon as I smelled it, I was done. Yep. It was basically cold turkey and never even thought about it again.
No, your worst person is your ex-smoker, not your non-smoker, because your ex-smoker is going to be even worse than a non-smoker is. Yes.
Because I never smoked. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. And I worked in bars. There was a lot of, and you'd come home and you'd stink like, but man, I can't stand it. But I never smoked. So that's interesting because now that as I start to think about it, I know people who are even much worse than I am, and they were all smokers.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to my dad, who said he'd still, up till the day he died, he'd still smoke if he knew he
could get away with it.
Yeah, if he knew he could get away with it.
All right, so let's get off all this subject.
That was random.
All right, so were you mentored, or who helped you? Who brought you on the ropes and then showed you the way?
Wow. I would say I was mentored by a ton of people. I feel like that was kind of my progression into where I am now. I started out on my first team. Should we talk about names? Should we talk names or no names?
The way I tell you is, as long as they're good things, if they're bad things, you might want to keep their name secret.
I mean, there's just so many names. Let's put it that way. So the first time that I came into the team, I actually was a transaction coordinator for a large team. And that was at Remax. So we can talk about that a little bit and just be vague. So there was just a whole lot of people, right? Big team. Obviously, I had a team lead. I was a coordinator for that team, and that taught me a lot, right? And that was a huge step into real estate, and just come and help my team out, help figure out, do you like this? Do you want to do this? And once I spent a little bit of time there, I was like, this is great. I can do this. I'm not sure I love the back office feel of it. I feel like I want to be a little more with the clientele. And then I moved after that. I moved into that carpenter, and then obviously, carpenter has a completely different feel. You were brought in more where I just had a whole lot of different pieces. I started working with a direct partner at that point in time, and then we joined another larger team because we were still kind of new, and that's just kind of how it all works through the process. And then I started doing a lot more with leads, and we had a lot more mentoring from lender contacts. I think there was just a lot more that we were doing one-on-one with that. And then we moved in and we went to Tucker, and I was in the Avon office for a long time. Had a lot of people that could interact with and just learn about their history and how they did things and what worked there. And again, every single place, every single person taught you something new or something different that you could try and see, did that work for you? So it was a collective unit from a whole lot of people.
I mean, it's smart that you understood, look, I got some information here, but I'm still missing something. And let's be honest, we've all had jobs where we didn't feel the best, but you switch just companies and it might offer somebody something different that they needed. And I mean, we're all different. So each person needs something different. I mean, I know some places that people come in and they talk about, oh, this place offered more mentoring than other places, or this one offered me better ways to get leads and stuff like that. So, but to find your place that's your whole goal as an employee, is to find your right place for you.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that the transition helps you get to where you need to be. It teaches you what you need. And I think that real estate is constantly changing, right?
Right.
Real estate today is not what it was 5 years ago. COVID completely changed everything. So I think that that's part of real estate. It is a constant change. And I think the last time we talked, you kind of said, you think you found your place. I think I found my place today, and what happens in the next 5 years, I have no idea, right? If it changes and everything changes with it. Tucker's been really great about looking at what needs to change and changing with us. And I think we're constantly getting new, CRMs, we're getting new information constantly. So I think that's why I've been here the longest.
That's good.
But here, let me ask this one last, and then
yeah.
So do you think that people stay with you as a realtor, or just basically a realtor, or more of a company? Because I think people stay with the realtor. No matter what company you go to, I think the person stays there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think all of my clientele has stayed with me no matter where I go. They don't care the name. I do think that you get a little bit more business because of your company. I think you have a little bit of brand
awareness
because of a larger company name. And I guess I can't really make a big note of that because I haven't been to any smaller companies. I feel like that's important, and that's why I continue to stay with the larger brands.
Yeah. So what, if somebody is looking to get into, has any questions on real estate, what would be the best way to get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me on my cell phone, call or text 317-414-2755, or you can email me. My email is my full name, Rachel.Blackledge@talktotucker.com.
Perfect. And to get a hold of Ian or I, call 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938, or you can go online to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. And I do have one other question. At Tucker, you're in the President's Club?
I am in the President's Club.
What does that mean?
So the President's Club is over 5 million last year.
That's a lot.
It was a lot on my own. Yeah. So that was the first and only year that I've been completely a solo agent, and that was the first and only time that I've been able to
Congratulations.
reach President's Club.
Awesome.
So it was a great year for referrals. It's been a big year for me. I have done so much work with first-time home buyers this year. I feel like I'm finally hitting that age of a lot of my friends, my family, a lot of my sphere has got now kids that are starting to hit that age. So it's been a great year.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's becoming a better time for first-time home buyers.
It really
because
is.
let's be honest, during COVID was not the time for first-time home buyers when people were asking for so much more over asking price.
It was, yep. It was definitely a hard time, and I feel like everyone's starting to get back into some normalcy, some pre-COVID normalcy, where everything's getting a little bit more normal.
All right. So now we're going to do the fun thing.
I figured we were.
The question of the week. And the question of the week is sponsored by, hey, Rick and I, the hardworking mortgage guys, where we believe in helping and supporting you and your realtor by sending constant updates on your loan process. We don't like living in a black hole, so you should not either. So contact us, and we'll be more than happy to get you through everything with communication. All right. So here's the question. What was your first car?
My first car was a 89 Camaro RS. Sky blue T-tops. Probably a horrible decision for my parents to make. But
Sounds like a great decision to me.
that was my first car.
Wow. Was
And
it
you-
new?
No, gosh,
No.
no. It was
No.
in the 90s.
Okay. And what did it have? Like the big motor, 350? You don't remember? You don't know? All you know is
V6. It was a V6. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it
they
was-
were
it was-
responsible
They were
enough.
responsible that way.
It was the
Yeah.
RS. The SS has the
Right.
bigger
Yeah,
motor.
that's right. But the RS can have the bigger motor, right?
No, that's
The only SS?
the only
Well,
one.
they that's not the way it used to be back in the day when I was a kid.
Yeah, they only had the Model T when you back in your kid.
No, they didn't have the Model T. Well, they still have the Model T. They weren't building it anymore, at least here in the U.S. That's a great car.
I loved that car.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. And it was kind of funny because I feel like my dad really kind of bought it for himself. He had a Jeep Wrangler, and so we just kind of traded off all the time. Whenever the weather was super nice, he would just take the top off and be like, "You want to drive the Jeep today?" And of course, I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm 16." Like, of course, I want to drive the Jeep today. Here's the Camaro. And then he would drive the Camaro. So I feel like he really just bought it for himself. But for the most
Yeah.
part, the Camaro was mine.
I did the same thing, only I bought a Jeep Wrangler for my son, my middle son, so that I could. But he never let me drive it.
No?
No.
No, we traded all the time. I feel like I probably had better insurance rates than him, so that's why he put the Camaro in my name.
Okay.
Which I don't know how that's possible. Girl, 16.
Yeah, maybe because it was a girl. I don't know.
Or
Whatever.
maybe your
You
dad
had-
had
you
many
had a-
tickets.
Maybe he had bad- yeah, he was
you just
bad.
didn't know about it.
It's just she had a cool car. That's all I know. That's all I know.
So what would you consider one of your most memorable deals?
Oh, my most memorable deal.
I stumped her.
That is a hard one. I've had some really bad deals that I
It
don't.
can be memorable.
Oh, it was really memorable. I remember the police at the office for a little while.
All right. Oh, no. Keep going. Keep going. This is-
FBI, who all was there?
Hey, as long as it's not against you, we're good.
It wasn't against me. It had nothing to do with me. I just memorable. That's so hard. There's so many. I don't know. That is a stumped question.
You got to ask better questions.
Yeah.
Goodness.
What's wrong with you?
Whoa. She started it. Police were at the office. Guns were drawn. I mean,
we had to be walked out to our vehicles at night so no one would come after us.
Wow.
He wasn't very happy,
No. Well, you know,
but not with us. It wasn't me. It wasn't the transaction. I think it was just everyone involved.
yeah. Well, people overreact to a lot of things, and there's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress in a real estate transaction. I just remember the Tony Carizza deal. You know, I mean, he went into the lending office because he had some reason they couldn't finance him, and puts a gun to somebody's head. You know, I mean, those are it's just not rational.
Right. I went into real estate and I never acknowledged the fact of, in my mind, right, in my little mind, all the times it was just you bought a house, you needed a bigger house, right? You had kids or you got married or whatever. That's all I could think about at that time. And then the moment that I'm in real estate, I realized people die and
Yes.
people have to move or people lose their job or people like there's 1,000 sad reasons or divorce, right?
Right.
There's so many other emotions into it. And I think that I do really great with that because it's a great perspective to have, right? It's something that you just work with your clients and you know, but I didn't realize that going in how much difference there was for everyone, right? It's not always a happy time and it's not always, they don't always want to do it. They don't
Right.
always want to move. And
That makes it hard.
it makes it hard.
And I'm sure it makes the whole process a lot harder because they're doing something they don't want to do, but they have to do it.
Right. Yeah. Whenever they don't have a choice about it, whether it be work or divorce or whatever, it's a very difficult situation.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. It's interesting how many realtors we talk to, and they're just not a realtor. They're basically a therapy person too.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
because like you said, I mean, you deal with people in the great times and then the horrible times. And then you got to deal with the bad news. And then you got to deal with good news. And basically, you got people crying at the closing table for many different reasons.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I'm getting ready to list a house and the entire family is involved. It's their family home. They've all been there their entire life. Literally, they still have childhood toys in the closet, right?
Wow.
They're finding things in the closets from their child, like they've got all these things and it is so emotional. And I've been over there a couple times and we've gone through it. And I kind of was talking to the mom the other day and I said, how do you feel about, how do you feel about this? And she's like, I know it needs to happen. And I said, I think that I know that you have that. And I know, I'm glad that you're feeling this way because it's kind of been prolonged. Like she's not been living in it for a few minutes. And I said, I know that you feel that way and I'm glad that you're ready for this, but I promise when we get to that closing table, it's going to be emotional. But when you see the people buying it, you're going to be so excited. You're going to be excited to see the excitement in their face because it just happens so many times. They're sad until that closing table and then they're like, oh my goodness, it's going to someone who's going to love it as much or if not more than I did.
Right. And sometimes you have that, and then you have maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is, where your new life has now taken off.
Right.
And you realize that as hard as that might have been, it was the right thing to do. My parents went through that. They lived in the house for 42 years or 38 years or something, and then they moved to a new house. And
Rick kicked them out.
no,
Right.
Rick was long gone by then, out of the house. But it was bittersweet, but they loved the new house. I mean, it was everything they wanted, but it was that first, getting through closing and all that was hard to do.
Change.
You just, yes.
Change is hard, but it's so good.
Yes.
It's always good.
Yeah. Yeah. You just have to let it happen.
Yeah.
And it all works out. It just always does. So since since Ian asked that so hard a question, I thought I would ask it. Maybe
An
not.
easy.
I'm hoping not as hard, but this actually came from one of the agents we talked to, and I think it's a great question. What is one of the funniest or maybe embarrassing moments you've had in business?
Embarrassing moments in business.
Or funny.
Okay, funny.
Wow, you thought I stumped her.
Oh my goodness. None of these were questions that I'm prepared for whatsoever.
These should be good stories. I'm sure you had. I mean, the last one he wouldn't tell on air, and it was absolutely hilarious. You want us to move on?
Yeah. Can I think? Yeah.
Yeah.
Move on for a second. I'll
Okay.
come up with something.
All right, perfect. So what would you say some of the misconceptions people have of what a real estate agent actually does?
That we look at houses all day and get paid tons of money, and I feel like that is just the biggest misconception because I feel like there's so much time involved before anything ever actually happens with a client. Just the questions, the preparedness, I feel like I spend so much more time with my clients before we're ever even thinking about listing or selling or buying, that it's just the time and the preparation before it takes so much more effort than the listing and the selling and the 30 to 45 days that we're actually in the transaction. It's just time consuming. There's
Right.
just so much time involved in scheduling, right? We work on not our schedule whatsoever. Everyone says, I want to be in business for myself and I want to work on my own schedule and I'm going to have all this free time to go to my kids' practices or do all my things that I want to do. And that's all fine and good until somebody wants to see a house or talk to you about something and you're right in the middle of whatever you thought you were going to do.
Yeah. It's the same problem most people have in it. It's, you kind I don't know, you kind of get used to it. At least I have in mortgages. If somebody calls on a Saturday at 2:00 in the afternoon, you just know that's what you have to do.
Right.
You say take your time out. It's easier for us because ours isn't as time consuming as it is for a real estate agent. It's like, we need a pre-approval. Okay, I already did that. Let me redo it. Here you go. And 20 minutes later you're done, where you have to get the offer ready, send it in, communicate. You have all this other things that you have to do. So I know it can be very, I asked the question because I want people, I think it's important for sellers and buyers to know how much effort an agent actually puts in, because so many people, we had an agent on yesterday and he was talking about, he was at a restaurant and he heard two people talking about how overpaid real estate agents are.
Mhm.
That's a big misconception. Most of them don't make any money. It's like 80% or 90% are in the poverty level, right?
Right.
And the 10%, like you're in the top 10% because you make money, you sell houses, you do really well. And people don't realize that. But the reason you're there is because you've put the time, the effort into it to get there, and you have the knowledge and experience in order to benefit somebody. And I'm sorry, but that to me is worth a lot.
Right.
It's same in mortgages. People look at a mortgage as a commodity, but it's not. There's a lot to it, and getting the correct mortgage can save you thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. And having somebody who knows what they're doing can take a lot of the stress away, right?
And I think that was all part of my life timing, right? Whenever I look at someone who's got small kids, who's out there doing their hustle every day and struggling with it, I can't imagine having small kids and doing what I do. It only worked out because my kid went off to college and I had that free time, and my husband is fabulous and he has no problem making dinner when he comes home and I'm nowhere to be found. Or my friends are awesome whenever they know we've got brunch plans and I last minute call and say, sorry, I got to go show houses this afternoon. And everyone is just so great about understanding I have no control of my time and they don't hold that against me and hate me forever for it. So it only works for me because my life allows that to work for me.
Right.
And I can't imagine all the other people who go out and hustle every day and have all the other commitments that they have to, because I feel like that is a part of it that works really great for me at my time in my time of life.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about social media, but how do you see the power of social media as it relates to a real estate agent in your business?
I think that social media helps just keep you at the top of mind. Just so that everyone kind of remembers, hey, right, she's working, she's doing well. I think it also helps. I think just the education part of it helps, letting people be able to hear you or talk to you or ask you questions whenever it's convenient for them. And I think that I'm trying to do a better job of, when I hear those same questions over and over again, just put them out there so that when you want to know that answer, it's just there for you to find. And I think that social media is becoming a big part of allowing that information to be found more easily.
Yeah. So, and you said you worked with a lot of first-time home buyers recently and everything like that. So what does owning a home do for a first-time home buyer, for financially and mentally?
I think that the first-time home buyers are finally getting to, I think that's always been that, but I think that they're finally getting to the point where you're seeing just the fact that rent is so high that there is absolutely no way to justify continuing to pay that rent when they can just own that home, have that stability, and not be, paying rent to someone else. So I think that is just becoming a fact of, it just makes so much more sense to buy than just to continue to rent.
Yeah. It's amazing how much more wealth you have when you own a home. And you just, it's just it's a big savings account. It's a big investment, and it really does work. Well, if somebody is first-time home buyer or anybody looking to buy or sell a home, what would be the best way to get a hold of you?
You can call me on my cell phone, call or text 317-414-2755.
And you can call that again. What's the number?
317-414-2755.
Yeah, I like to have it twice, because if I'm trying to write down and I'm listening, I need some time.
Yep.
Why you got to do that? We put it in the description for everybody.
Well, if I'm driving down the road and I'm going to call right now, it's amazing, because I have had calls when I first started doing advertising on radio. I would get calls, the ad would run, and they would call, and a lot of times they'd hang up right away, but they wanted to make sure they had my number, and then they'd call back later. So it's hard to remember those numbers, right?
Yep.
Just is. So what was that number again?
317-414-2755.
Perfect. And to get a hold of Ian or I, you can go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can call us at 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And follow us for more Indy's Real Estate Gurus.
Rachel, we'd like to thank you for your time today. It was very informational for us, if I can talk.
He can't.
So, hey, we've been going on for 45 minutes, so I think it's all right. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
Appreciate it.
All right. And a reminder, if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or refinance, contact Rick or I. We'd be more than happy to help you.
Branch NMLS number 33041. Rick Ripma's NMLS number 664589. Ian Arnold's NMLS number is 1995469. Equal housing opportunity. Some restrictions apply.